Sins in Hinduism and Islam, similarities and differences. Both Hinduism and Islam recognize the concept of sin as an action that goes against divine law, morality, and righteousness. However, the way sin is defined, classified, and its consequences differ in each religion. 1. Similarities between sins in Hinduism and Islam. 1. Moral and ethical violations. Both Hinduism and Islam consider lying, stealing, murder, adultery, and harming others as sinful acts. These are seen as violations of divine and moral laws. 1.22. Intention matters. In both religions, intention, niyyah in Islam, bhava in Hinduism, plays a crucial role in determining whether an action is sinful. If an action is committed unknowingly or without bad intent, it may not carry the same level of sin. 1.3. Consequences of sin. In Hinduism, sins affect karma, which influences future births, reincarnation. Severe sins result in bad karma and suffering in the next life. In Islam, sins result in divine punishment, either in this life, in the grave after death, or on the day of judgment. 1.4. Repentance and forgiveness. Both religions believe that sinners can seek forgiveness. In Hinduism, through prayers, rituals, pilgrimages, fasting, and good deeds. Some sins require penance, prayashita. In Islam, through sincere repentance, tawbah, by asking Allah for forgiveness and committing not to repeat the sin. Nashar 2. Differences in the concept of sin, aspect, Hinduism, Islam, definition of sin, actions that go against dharma righteousness and cause bad karma, disobedience of Allah's commandments, leading to divine punishment. Types of sins, classified as papa, minor sin, and mahapataka, grave sin, classified as sagira, minor sin, and kabira, major sin. Major sins, killing a Brahmin, guru droha, stealing from temples, adultery, bharya sangrahana, lying to harm others, drinking alcohol, shirk, associating partners with Allah, murder, adultery, zina, lying under oath, drinking alcohol. Impact of sin affects karma, leading to reincarnation in a lower form or suffering in future lives. Leads to punishment in the afterlife, either in hell, Jahannam, or during Judgment Day. Forgiveness, through penance, prayashita, fasting, pilgrimages, and devotion to God, through repentance, tawbah, seeking Allah's mercy, and doing good deeds. Ultimate consequence, rebirth in a lower life form or hellish realms. Moksha, liberation, frees one from the cycle of rebirth. Eternal heaven, Jannah, for the forgiven, or hell for those who die in major sins without repentance. 3. Key theological differences. 3.1. Concept of original sin. Islam rejects the idea of original sin. Every human is born pure, fitra, and sin is committed by personal choice. Each person is responsible for their own actions. Hinduism does not have the concept of original sin, but believes in inherited karma, where past actions from previous lives influence one's current life circumstances. 3.2. Idol worship, shirk versus murti puja. Islam, shirk, associating partners with Allah, is the gravest sin in Islam. Worshipping idols or believing in multiple gods is considered an unforgivable sin if one dies without repenting. Islam strictly emphasizes monotheism, tawhid. Hinduism, many Hindus worship multiple deities, murti puja, but most sects believe these gods represent different aspects of one supreme reality, Brahman. While some sects, e.g. Advaita Vedanta, focus on a formless divine, others embrace deity worship. 3.3. Who decides what is sinful? Islam, sins are explicitly defined in the Quran and Hadith. Islamic law, Sharia, provides clear guidelines on what is prohibited, haram, and permissible, halal. Hinduism, sins are described in texts like the Vedas, Upanishads, Manusmriti, and Bhagavad Gita, but interpretations vary between different traditions and sects. There is no single universal law governing all Hindus. Conclusion. Hinduism and Islam both view sin as an act that goes against divine law and moral principles. However, their theological foundations differ. Islam has a strict monotheistic framework with clearly defined rules in the Quran and Hadith. The ultimate consequences of sin are heaven, Jannah, or hell, Jahannam, depending on one's repentance and God's mercy. Hinduism has a more diverse and flexible understanding of sin, tied to karma and reincarnation. The consequences of sin affect one's future rebirth and ultimate liberation. Moksha is the goal. Despite these differences, both religions emphasize ethical conduct, repentance, and divine forgiveness as ways to overcome sin and attain spiritual progress.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.